Yet may thy pity mingle not with pain, for then thy hapless lover dies in vain. Charlotte Smith, Sonnet 25. December 29th, 1786. "Why are you feeding Priya in the library?" the Duchess of Beaufort asked as she entered the large room. Mrs. Tiffany Lathrop was a librarian and a mother. She glanced down at her beautiful 11-month-old daughter, who was suckling at her breast. Her little arm grabbed at Tiffany's fichu before tucking her fingers around her mother's collar and holding on. Tiffany looked up at her friend and employer, who had insisted that she bring her small children with her to work. "Would you prefer I nursed her in the dining room?" Catharine, the Duchess, was not wearing a wig or any cosmetics today, a rare occurrence. However, her silk sack gown of maroon and cream stripes showed off her slender figure admirably. She also wore matching dainty maroon heels, which were easy to see as her friend sat down on the sofa beside her and kicked her feet. "No, I don't know. Everything is wrong, Tiffany." "No!" Tiffany said louder than she'd meant to, not in response to her friend's mercurial mood, but to her little daughter who had just bitten her. Tiffany loved nursing her baby, but Priya had recently grown 2 adorably sharp little bottom teeth. "Yes," the Duchess continued, not realizing that Tiffany's response had not been to her. She held up a letter and waved it around the air like a flag. "I received this only moments ago." Tiffany could only blink, unsure of what her friend was speaking about. "A letter?" "Not just any letter," Catharine said with a huff. "One from the Marquess of Harwood. Do you know who he is?" Tiffany could only shrug her shoulders. "A marquess? I am afraid that I have never had the privilege of making his acquaintance." "Of course not. He has been in France for the last 8 years as a foreign diplomat. However, rumors of last year's unpleasantness have finally reached him, and Harwood has come home to England." Tiffany thought that unpleasantness did not at all begin to cover the events of the prior year, but she knew better than to correct her friend and employer. Both Tiffany's husband Samir and Catherine's son Thomas had been accused of murder. It had taken all of Tiffany's ingenuity to save them. Priya's little hand moved from Tiffany's collar to her lower lip as she tried to touch her mother's teeth. Twisting her head to free her mouth, Tiffany managed to say, "I assume that he is your particular friend? Perhaps the Marquess can help you regain your social standing in London." Since the death of her husband, Catharine had been ostracized by the beau monde.